Hi.
Hi.
You want some company, or would you rather be alone?
Company would be good. I'm scared now.
I know, honey.
I have to get up on that witness stand. Talk about being abused after I spent all these years blocking it out, pretending it never happened. The whole concept. Talking about it in front of people, in front of strangers, goes against everything I've thought about myself since I was 10 years old.
Well, sometimes the things that are hardest for us to do are the things that eventually set us free. I mean, secrets can act like a slow kind of poison. They can eat away at you day after day, a little piece here, a little piece there, until eventually you're dead inside.
Yeah, I've been there.
Well, maybe getting up on that witness stand today will be the last step in cleaning out the poison, so you're able to get on with things.
You really think so?
Well, I'm no expert, but I'd like to think it's possible.
I guess there's no way around it then.
Well, sure there is. You can go to Julia and tell her you can't do it. I mean, she'd understand.
No. No, I have to do this. I think you're right. It's something I have to do for myself.
Miss Walker, you are still under oath.
BJ, I know how difficult this is for you, and you feel free to take as much time as you need. However, I need to know, and this court needs to know, the nature of your relationship with Frank Goodman, and how many years the relationship spanned.
He was my godfather.
Were you close to him?
Yes.
Did you love him?
Yes.
Did you trust him?
Yes.
BJ, you said that he was your godfather. What was the extent of your relationship? I know that this is very painful for you, but the jury needs to understand the dynamics of your relationship so that they may deliver a fair and objective verdict. So, I'm going to have to ask you again, BJ, what exactly was the extent of your relationship with Frank Goodman?
The relationship was sexual in nature.
Order.
When did the sexual aspect of your relationship start, BJ?
When I was 10 years old.
And how did the sexuality manifest itself?
He would, touch me inappropriately. And he would kiss me. Would make me kiss him.
Was there intercourse?
No. He felt that as long as he didn't penetrate me, that he could pretend that what he was doing was all right.
Objection. Sustained.
BJ, when did these incidents of abuse occur?
Sometimes he would volunteer to stay with me and my brother when my parents wanted to go out to a movie or something. He would always put my brother Sawyer to bed, usually as soon as possible. He would say that I was the oldest, so I could stay up later. And then when we were alone, he would start the games. That's what he called them, the games.
BJ, go on.
This from the woman who begged to be there for her daughter?
Look, if I can't show any emotion in that disgusting room, I have to be able to go somewhere.
Fine. You need to vent your anger. Nobody understands that better than I do. It's all I can do to sit there and listen to BJ tell that horror story and not want to rip that courtroom apart bench by bench. But somehow, I got the distinct impression that we agreed earlier that supporting BJ was a little more important than these outbursts.
I should have taken care of it myself. I should have taken care of him.
Joe.
I should have known.
Joe, don't do this.
I'm gonna go back in there.
BJ, please continue.
I thought that by the time I got into high school, it would stop, but it didn't. If anything, it became more frequent. It seemed like every time I turned around, I found myself alone in a room with him.
BJ, during all those years, what did you think of Frank?
What was I supposed to think? He was the most trusted friend my parents had. And after so much time, it became more and more difficult to fight him.
Had you fought him off before?
No, not really. When I got older, I would try to distract him. I would talk about school or sports or anything that I could think of. But for the longest time, I never even realized that I had the right to object. Even though that I knew that somehow it wasn't natural.
Objection. Your Honor, I'm sure that all of us here are very sorry for whatever this girl imagined she went through, but I fail to see the point of this testimony.
I have already made my ruling, Mr. Arnold, and you are overruled. Proceed, counsel.
BJ, I know how difficult this has been for you. This has been a very long day, so I'm going to make this as easy for you as possible. So I'm going to move on. We all heard the graphic details of what happened to BJ over all these years leading up to the night of the confrontation. So BJ, will you tell us, please, about that night?
That night. So much that I don't know.
Do the best you can.
I know that I hated him for what he had done to me, for what he had tried to do to my mom and Cruz. I know that I wanted him out of my life. I know that I was scared. He'd figured out that I had tricked him, and he was angry at me. God, was he angry. I just wanted to get away from him in the worst way. That's it. I've tried to remember. Things started to come back, but I'm just not sure.
BJ, try harder. Try to think what it was like right before Frank died, what you were like.
I wish I knew. I would give anything if I knew. I've just been pushed so far. I've never felt so disassociated from myself, from reality.
Thank you. Your Honor, I would like to request a brief recess so that my client can collect herself.
Object. Your Honor, I think that the witness seems composed enough. I'd like to start my cross-examination, if that please the court.
Sustained. Proceed.
Miss Walker, to be so confused, so, how did you put it, disassociated? It must be tough. Confused about your feelings, confused about the facts.
Your Honor, does the district attorney plan to ask a question anytime soon?
Mr. Arnold, get on with it. Get to the point.
Miss Walker, is it possible that since you are so confused about that night, maybe you're also confused about a lot of other things?
Such as?
Your entire relationship with Officer Goodman?
No, it is not possible. I know what he did to me.
I wish I could be as sure, Miss Walker.
Your Honor.
Your Honor, this witness is the one who's come to us. pleading confusion over this and amnesia over that, surely I should be allowed to question her veracity.
Overruled. Proceed.
Miss Walker, it's painfully clear that you have suffered some trauma. But is it trauma from being abused? Or trauma from committing the cold-blooded murder of a man who never did anything but love you?
No.
Trauma from a murder committed because you had seduced a man that you were now afraid was prepared to leave you forever.
That is not true. I did not seduce that monster, and don't you dare say that I did.